I wanted to thank everyone for joining us today to learn about what's new in BIMrx Core MEP and Fabrication 3.1 and BIMrx Cloud Manager 2.8. So let's get started by introducing our presenters for today's webinar. My name is Shir Ehrlich, and I'm a Strategic Implementation Manager here at Microdesk. My background is in architecture, and I specialize in BIM implementation and Dynamo automation. Like most Dynamo users, I'm always looking for ways to improve my BIM workflows. So for the past year, I've been working closely with our product development team on BIMrx, and I'm also the BIMrx Core product owner. Joining me today are my colleagues Brendan and Ed.
Hi everyone, I'm Brendan Gregory. I'm a project manager and the product owner for BIMrx Cloud Manager at Microdesk. I use BIMrx Cloud Manager and BIMrx Core to manage our Revit and BIM 360 projects daily. While working as a BIM project manager, I noticed many inefficiencies in workflows managing BIM 360. So I've been working with our product development team on BIMrx Cloud Manager to speed up, improve, and automate those workflows.
And I'm Ed LaRiviere. I'm a strategic implementation manager and also an MEP and fabrication product owner. I've been heavily involved with automation and BIM adoption over the years and have seen the struggles firsthand. Microdesk also noticed these struggles in modeling workflows and decided to band together and fix them. Now I'm here to share that with everybody.
Thank you, Brendan and Ed. Really quick, I wanted to mention that today we will be showcasing all the new improvements and new features in BIMrx Core MEP and Fabrication 3.1 and BIMrx Cloud Manager 2.8. So if you are new to BIMrx, please check out our website or our YouTube channel to learn about what BIMrx can do for you. Here you can read all about the existing commands and features, watch videos, and subscribe to BIMrx so that you can stay up to date with all the latest BIMrx information. You can even check out the BIMrx workflow series from our workflow webinar series. Before diving into all the new improvements, I want to talk a little bit about what BIMrx is for anyone who's new. We built BIMrx to really enhance and simplify Revit and BIM 360. Each of our modules is purpose-built to allow us to get projects out the door faster and spend less time on, low-level tasks and more time focused on things like design. BIMrx Core, MEP, and Fabrication are all built to be a part of Revit, while BIMrx Cloud Manager is a standalone desktop application. BIMrx is really built to showing the entire BIM project lifecycle, from views and model production to collaborating with stakeholders and project administration. So let's get started with BIMrx Core. BIMrx Core is the foundation for more efficient project setup, model management, and documentation. BIMrx Core is for all disciplines, which is why it can be purchased on its own or is included with all our other BIMrx products. From setting up the views in your project to managing Excel data to tagging your drawings and creating print sets, BIMrx Core is built to work throughout your entire project lifecycle. Now, with every release of BIMrx, we are learning more and more about our customers' needs and incorporating the feedback we receive from people like you into our existing commands and features. Now, we have done a lot of improvements in BIMrx 3.1 to some of our favorite core commands and features. We have improved the Sheet View Manager, Extract and Update, Section, Tagging, Revision Manager, File Renamer, and Export NWC commands. And I'm so excited to show you what we've done. The first improvement is to the BIMrx Sheet View Manager. The Sheet View Manager allows us to easily create views and sheets, duplicate views, place views on sheets, and align views on sheets. As you all know, the Sheet View Manager utilizes Excel-based workflows to streamline creating views and sheets. In the last release, we introduced the based on configuration settings into the BIMrx Sheet View Manager to easily configure the different view sets we need to quickly create views and sheets for project setup. Now in BIMrx 3.1, we have improved the view sheet naming convention and sheet numbering convention in the configuration settings to allow users to add any parameters from the Excel configuration file into the naming and numbering conventions. This will provide us with greater control and options for naming and numbering our views and sheets. I can now quickly create all the views I need to set up my project easily and customize how those views get named or numbered based off of my company or project standards. Next is the BIMrx Extract feature. I will use the BIMrx Extract feature to update my room data. So first, I will use the filter select command to easily select all the rooms in my model. As you know, BIMrx Extract and Update allows for round-trip data between Revit and Excel. The BIMrx Extract feature has been improved with a variety of new features. Firstly, as you can see, the UI has been updated for improved user experience and now includes a partial preview for our selection export. This partial preview will allow us to see the data before it gets exported to Excel. BIMrx can be used to export all parametric information associated to our selection, or we can use the parameter filter to specify which parameters we want exported. We can make modifications using our parameter filter and see how that partial preview updates to those changes. For example, let's select all our room finishes so that we can update that finish information using Excel. Now that we have added that parameter filter, you will notice that the partial preview has been updated to the changes we made. Once we're happy with that preview, we can export that information to Excel. And once we export to Excel, we can now update the data same as before. We can add new data, modify existing data, and quickly make any changes needed to our data, like adding all the finishes into our room schedules. Then we can use the update feature to bring those changes back into the Revit model and quickly make any modifications we need to that room data. I mean, how amazing is that? Let's now look at the improvements to exporting schedules, because as you know, BIMrx can also export any pre-created schedules. For example, I have this door schedule, and in the last hotfix of BIMrx, we included the ability to modify schedule headers, giving us the ability to rename and group headers without it affecting our export and update. Now, with a typical export, as you saw in the previous export, we get 4 Excel tabs: the export summary, the export catalog, the type parameters, and the instance parameters. Well, now included in BIMrx 3.1 is the ability to create a simple export, which will hide the export summary and the export catalog, and will only show the 2 tabs of data we need, which are the type parameters and the instance parameters. So now it's even easier for me to find the correct information and put in the new data that I need. These few updates to exporting schedules makes using the extract and update features much easier and simpler. I mean, it still amazes me how much faster I can update my project data using these commands. Now, we looked at creating plan views with the Sheet View Manager, but what improvements have been made to creating sections? One of our favorite commands, the BIMrx section command, has been improved to include a settings dialog. This settings dialog will give us the option to specify which view type to use for the sections created and allow us to specify which side of the element the section is created on. Once we have our settings set up, we can use the section command similarly to how we used it in the previous version. The only difference is now whichever side we select for the second click is the side of the element the section is created on. Note that now we also have the ability to use the section command on linked elements as well. Now we've created our views and managed our data. So let's take a look at what's happened to our tagging commands. And of course, we had to continue making improvements to the BIMrx tag settings UI, which has been updated and improved for better user experience. We have also added the ability to create groups of different configurations. In the groups, we can include one or many different individual tag configurations. This will allow us to set up groups for the different view types we need tagged. We can then filter by these groups within our tag settings to more easily find the different configurations within our project. Once our tag settings are complete, we can use our tag select, just like in the previous version, which works like the out-of-the-box tag by category, but using our BIMrx settings to tag the elements in our views. So now that we've finished documenting our sheets, we are ready to add those revisions. In the last version of BIMrx, we introduced you to the BIMrx Revision Manager, which now in BIMrx 3.1 includes even more filtering capabilities. You can see that at the top of the toolbar, at the top of the interface is a search filter bar that we can use to type in any value and have the data grid filter by that value. This will allow us to easily find any sheet within our project and add or remove revisions as needed. And don't you worry, because the existing filter by revision still exists, and the ability to create print sets of our revised sheets. But now we also have the ability to export our revisions out to an Excel revision schedule. This Excel file is formatted to the typical revision schedule format. Now, similar to the BIMrx Extract and Update feature, we can make modifications to our revision schedule in Excel by using the X symbol to specify which revision is included on which sheet. We can add or remove revision utilizing the power of Excel. Then when we come back to Revit, we can use the BIMrx Revision Manager to update those changes back into the Revit model. Now we can make changes to our revisions either in Revit or utilizing Excel. And once we have added those revisions to our sheets, we maybe want to export them out, but we might then need to rename those exported sheets. Well, with the BIMrx file renamer, we can rename any file created from a Revit sheet using the sheet's parametric information. So let's open Revit and the File Explorer side by side to see how this feature renames our files. We have now added the ability to save and load BIMrx file renamer settings. This has been a much requested feature that I'm so excited made it into the 3.1 release. We can create customized concatenated settings for renaming our files and save them to use at a later time or load in any settings created by someone else using the BIMrx file renamer. We can add string dividers or any sheet parameters, make any modifications, and then save them. This will allow us to use different naming conventions for different projects if needed. Now, this will work on any files created from a Revit sheet, like PDFs or even DWGs. This will make renaming files created from Revit sheets so much faster and easier. And lastly, we also added a similar feature to our export NWC command. Users now have the ability to export or import their XML settings files using the BIMrx Export NWC feature. We can now import or export any settings in order to make exporting our views to Navisworks even easier and standardize our export settings across our various projects. So those are all the improvements we have made in BIMrx Core 3.1 to our existing features. But wait, there's more. In the latest release, we have also added a few new features to BIMrx Core. 5 new features to be exact. We have our new match parameter feature, auto dimension grids, align tags and dimensions, a print set manager, and our notification center to notify you the next time a version of BIMrx is available for download. So let's start with that match parameter command. Our new match parameters feature allows us to match instance parameters across different families or elements. The Revit out-of-the-box match parameters only matches types, but now with BIMrx, we can match instance parameters as well. For example, I can use this door element to transfer instance parameters to my windows. I can select parameters like the comment, the head height, and even the work set. This will now match those values from my original element, the door, to all the elements I selected. I can then use the same command to match more instance parameters from my window to my wall. I mean, the possibilities are really endless with what we can do with the new BIMrx match parameter feature. And adding dimensions to our views can be really time consuming, especially dimensioning our grids, right? Depending on the amount of grids in your project, this can be extremely tedious. The new BIMrx dimension grid command will automatically apply dimension string between all grids in our views with a click of a button. Then all we have to do is move the dimension strings to the correct location. I mean, we no longer have to waste time clicking on every single grid to dimension them. And once those dimensions are correctly located, we can move on to all the other things we need to do to document our drawings because, I mean, dimensioning is done. And speaking of documenting our drawings, let's look at our new align commands for that. Although we can use the BIMrx tagging features to quickly tag elements, sometimes we have existing tags or dimensions that need to be cleaned up and aligned. With Revit out of the box, it can be frustrating to drag or align those tags. Well, with the new BIMrx align set of commands, we can quickly align tags and dimensions in our views. We can select from a variety of align options and select either tags or dimensions. With just a few clicks of a button, the tags and dimensions on our views are cleaned up. These new set of commands will make creating beautiful drawings easier than ever before. And lastly, as you know, with the BIMrx Revision Managers, we can create new print sets of our revised sheets, but now we can manage, modify, and create more print sets with the new BIMrx Print Set Manager. We can easily create, duplicate, or delete our print sets, filter by different view and sheet properties, and easily modify the views or sheets within our print sets. Like I mentioned earlier, BIMrx Core is built to work throughout your entire project life cycle. And now with the new commands and features I just showed you, you have even more ways to manage your project data, streamline documenting your drawings, and even quickly organize your print sets. And although BIMrx Core already had some incredible commands and features, we are continuously making improvements to those features and adding new commands and features to help our project teams with that project setup, model management, and documentation. Now, I said this before, and I'll say it again. BIMrx Core is for all disciplines, and I'm certain that you would benefit from not just one, but many of the features listed here. I hope you got a small taste of what BIMrx Core could do for your project teams. Now that I've reviewed what is new in BIMrx Core 3.1, I will hand it over to Brendan to show you all the amazing improvements to BIMrx Cloud Manager.
Thank you, Sheer. Let me share my screen here. All right. The BIMrx Cloud Manager Pro 2.8 release is focused on improvements to our export features that are possible because of the connection to BIMrx Core. So the integration of BIMrx Core 3.1 and BIMrx Cloud Manager 2.8 allows for export of PDF, DWG, and NWC files from multiple cloud Revit models on demand or on a daily, weekly, or monthly schedule. In case you're new to BIMrx Cloud Manager, let's review what it is. BIMrx Cloud Manager is a standalone desktop application that was purpose-built to accelerate project setup, member management, and automate data management tasks for both BIM 360 and Autodesk Construction Cloud projects. Now let's talk about the improvements in BIMrx Cloud Manager 2.8. We made a highly requested improvement to our export PDF feature. Now you can use a filter to control which sheets are printed from each model across multiple projects, all in the same export job. Based on your print set naming, we're giving you the control to print just the PDFs you want from each model. We also added a brand new feature, Export DWG. Now you can export 3D and 2D views or sheets to AutoCAD DWG format. You can filter which DWG export setup is used for each model in the Export DWG job based on the name of the setup. Just like PDF export, you can use print sets to control which views and sheets are exported to DWG. Let's take a look at the new Export PDF print set filter in action. I've created an export PDF job, and we can find the print set filter in the PDF export settings. A Revit print set filter now enables control over which print sets are exported across multiple models and projects at the same time. If a print set name contains what I put in the filter here, it will be included in the export job. Next, I select the printer, Bluebeam if you have it, or a free PDF printer option is also provided. I can choose if the PDFs are printed as individual sheets or if they should be combined into one file per print set. Next, I'll set the export destination and then select the Revit version year and then save the settings. Now I will schedule the job, and I'm going to have it run Monday, Wednesday, and Friday each week at 4:28 a.m. Finally, I'm going to use the static method to select the models I want to include in this export job. I add the project, and then I select a model in this project, and then I'm going to add another project and select a model from that project. I will then save, and then I will deploy the job. I can deploy it to a network server if my computer will be off at the scheduled time, or I can run it on demand from my computer. BIMrx Cloud Manager Pro 2.8 continues to add automation capabilities, including exporting 3D and 2D views and sheets to AutoCAD DWG from Revit cloud models on demand or on a schedule. Here I've created an export DWG job. Let's look at the settings available when exporting Revit to DWG. We understand that each model might require different DWG export settings, so we've provided a contains filter that can be used to select different DWG export setups across multiple models with a common naming convention. Simply enter in the filter a common part of the setup name, and the job will use the matching DWG setups. Next, there is control over which views and sheets are included in the DWG export job by filtering the Revit print sets. Same as the PDF job, we will complete the setup by selecting the export destination and the Revit version year, and I'll hit save. Now I'm going to use the static method to select models I want to include in this export PDF job. I add the project and then I select a model, and then I'm going to add another project, and I will select from a model from that project. Finally, I'm going to schedule the job, and it's going to run every weekday at 4 a.m. I then save this job and I'll deploy it, and I can deploy it to a network server if I want, if my computer is going to be off at the scheduled time, or I can run it on demand from my computer. And there you go. That's how we set up an export DWG job in BIMrx Cloud Manager Pro 2.8. BIMrx Cloud Manager is full of features that accelerate project setup, member management, and automate project tasks. Now that we've covered the updates in BIMrx Cloud Manager Pro 2.8, let's hand it off to Ed to showcase what's new in BIMrx MEP and BIMrx Fabrication.
Thank you, Sheer and Brendan. That was some pretty powerful stuff. I hope everyone here has been comparing your internal workflows against everything that's possible when you leverage BIMrx. Now, before we jump into it, quick reminder, BIMrx MEP is a suite of commands to help you model and manage your models quicker and easier. So since BIMrx 3.0, there have been some significant improvements to some of our favorite existing MEP commands and features. So the MEP settings have been expanded and now include bloom options. Move Connect, Auto Break, and Coupling Align have all had enhancements to make them run smoother. Align Branch has a pre-selection option for groups, as well as improved alignment. Rotate Fitting now rotates with runs attached if you pre-select the elements. And lastly, Route 2 and Kick 90 that had multiple selection added to them. Let's take a look at these commands in action. First, we will start with the MEP settings. So if we take a look here, I used Bloom to extend the floor drain up, but it wasn't the right type. Using the MEP settings, I can quickly set this to the correct pipe type and system for the area that I'm working. Following this, I'm using Move Connect Align to attach a P-trap to that run. Let's see this happen. With just a couple clicks, I can get all of these items connected together. So I'm also going to go ahead and jump down here and extend this main over, give myself a little bit of a place to work, right? We've always been able to do some of these moves in 3D, but there's a lot of stuff that we can't do in 3D. So now that I've extended the main, we can test out rotate fitting and the align branch options. We will see that after I do a group pre-select, I can actually rotate large chunks of a model with ease. So after clicking the button initially, we'll see that I continue to rotate this a few more times using the keyboard shortcuts. A big reminder, all of these commands that we see in BIMrx can be keyed up to your keyboard shortcuts to be even faster. So you can rotate as many times as you need to get that perfect orientation. Traditionally, and we'll see this in a second, the align branch command will only move elements along one axis, as seen here. If we take a look and watch the vent there, we'll see that it just extended that vent out. Now, what if I did want to have that vent move with the rest of the run? Using the new pre-select option, I'm going to be able to use align branch and bring that entire chunk of information down to the correct height all at the exact same time. We'll see that happen right here. Really awesome stuff. Now, moving into the next updated items, right? Easy enough to connect. We're going to take a look at Route 2 in Kick 90. In Route 2, we see a quick set of design options are being tested. I'm going to go ahead and use a few different angles and just run each of these together. With just a click to each one, we see that route appear. And I can very quickly change that angle, click OK, and jump to the next one to try a few different items out. I can then decide, hey, I'd really like to just keep that 15, and I can run from each of these pipes individually and connecting them together. Very, very quick, hitting OK each time to finish up that route. I'm then going to go over here and take a look at connecting some underground items up to their in-wall counterparts. I'm also going to maintain that exact same 15-degree bend that I was using before. You'll notice when I jump into the Kick 90, we are remembering whatever angles we used from previous runs. So if I've been using 15 degrees as a bend all over the place, I can continue using it. And we'll see that with just 2 quick clicks, I'm able to bring them together. And until I hit escape, close, or change that angle, it's going to continue to just work. Really allows us to test out a whole bunch of options and connect everything that much quicker. Now, today I will also introduce the commands and features that are brand new to BIMrx MEP in version 3.1. Now we have roll into main, which is instantly going to connect a branch and a main with a 45-degree offset. And we also have some parameters, which is going to allow us to choose any elements and some common parameter between them. Let's take a look at how we might use some of these in a drafting scenario. So here we see a branch and a main that need to be connected. Roll into main will connect these instantly. We can also use this as a base, pairing up some of the other features we just saw to make even more complex shapes. I can go ahead and select here, use the pre-select rotate to bring that around, and then again use the pre-select align branch to bring that run down to the exact height that I need to be at to make a perfect connection. This is that typical 45 to 60 degree connection we see here. Now, once it's been brought down, all I'm going to need to do is a very quick trim, and I'll have all of these items sitting together perfectly. Now, after I've connected all those together, I'm just going to go ahead and grab a few pieces of pipe here. Maybe I'd like to order this piece real quick. Maybe I'd just like to have a general idea how much pipe I've used. Maybe there's some other value I care about. But just selecting some common elements and opening up some parameters, we'll see that it's given me the sums of all of the parameters that are consistent between them. I can see right here, I'm using about 11 feet of pipe. Maybe I'd like to go purchase that. So BIMrx MEP was already awesome as it was, yet now it's a whole lot better with these upgraded and new connecting, reconnecting, routing, and rerouting enhancements. And I mean, just look at that extensive list, all the things that we didn't get to see today. There's not just a little something for everyone in MEP, there's a lot for everybody. So now that we've seen what's new and updated in MEP, let's go ahead and take a look at what's new and updated for fabrication. So as a reminder to anyone who's new to the BIMrx world, BIMrx fabrication exists to feed up fabrication modeling workflows, as well as assist in detailing and documenting your models. Remember, these are for fabrication ITM parts. BIMrx helps with everything from modeling to spooling. So coming in hot, we've got some much requested features and updates for fabrication. Let's go ahead and start out with the updates. We brought in a pared down version of the MEP settings as an elbow and bloom settings to allow a little bit more control over length. Similar to MEP, the rotate fitting command now rotates with runs attached if you pre-select the elements. Spooling tags have been updated with additional options, including service, continuation, and category-based tags. And lastly, points have been updated so that the location now intelligently links to the hanger rod endpoint. So let's take a look. Now, starting out, I'm going to use the elbow command to show the standard stub that we get. You'll also see I'm going to be able to use the new rotate fitting command to just rotate that entire stub up at 45 degrees right off the bat. Now I'm going to go ahead and jump up and take a look at the MEP settings. And maybe I've decided I don't want 1 foot extensions. Maybe I'd only like them to be 6 inches so I can work in tighter spaces and not crowd my model. We'll see doing another bloom, we get that 6-inch extension instead, and I'm able to use that same rotate fitting to bring these up. And to just bring that workflow home, I'm able to very quickly use a line branch to make sure that these are all lined up together, and then I can go ahead and just trim these back and finish those runs. This is something we traditionally wouldn't be able to model in 3D and Revit. We'd have a whole slew of section views built around each of these spots to get exactly the correct rotation. So after the fittings, we're going to move into looking at some of the points. We'll see here that the points are actually intelligently linked and move with the hanger. You will see there is also a point location value that updates as these hangers are moved. If we take a look over on the right, we'll see that point location value show up as we select the point. That's being called out right there. These are the same location values that when we go into fabrication and use the point exporter, we are able to export those same locations out to easily link up with whatever scanning service you are using. All right. And lastly, we're going to go ahead and take a look at Spool Manager. With the addition of continuation tags, it's super easy to see what other assemblies are nearby. Taking a look at that 3D model, we'll see there's an assembly for each of those verticals coming right into that header. Spool Manager continues to work exactly how it always has. Selecting the assembly after it's been created, generating the views, and then jumping in. Here we see I've chosen to place the continuation tags. I'm creating the views and then opening up that sheet. Service tags, to note, are defaulting to whatever tags you have set within Revit. So as you set your default tags, we will be using those when we place a service tag inside the Fabrication Spool Manager. If you would like a different service tag, all you need to do is change your default. And there we have it. Now, I also mentioned we had some cool new features, and here they are. We are now providing spool templates to get you up and running faster. These will give you a good base point for you to edit into exactly what you need, and we'll see that shortly. We also have an incredibly requested feature, which is Hanger Trapeze. And I'm here to tell you it's arrived. We'll take a look at exactly what it can do just after the spool templates. So, the fabrication template is a new addition being provided to assist you with setting up your spooling faster and easier. We're providing view templates, a title block, and some base spool settings. We'll see that I've already opened up a transfer model, and I'm loading it into Transfer Project Standards to select all of the view templates that we provided. I'm able to bring all of those in one click, as well as jump in and very quickly bring in a title block that we provided as well. Once these are both brought in, that's really everything we need to start spooling. we can even go straight into those spool options. And instead of selecting these all on our own, we can go straight to importing in a spool settings that has also been provided that matches up with all the view templates and title block that you were just provided with, giving you an incredibly easy spot to start from and get those spools going immediately. Now, if you do want to do some customization, that is entirely fine as well. We'll actually see in a minute that I'm going to jump in and make a quick change to one of these fabrication pipework schedules. And we'll see that change show up when I go ahead and generate the spool. Anytime we make a change, you can absolutely save that out, generate a new spool setting file, or overwrite the original one. It's entirely up to you how you want to customize these. So I'm using the category schedule to do a fabrication pipework. Now I'm jumping in, I'm editing that fabrication schedule, and I'm going to go ahead and change some of the fields up. Maybe there's a field in there that I don't actually care about. So taking a look, I'm actually going to remove that product long description and just run with everything else that we see there instead. You can edit these to exactly what your shop needs. So once you're happy with the settings, Spool Manager continues to work exactly how it always had, generating the assembly, generating the views, and giving us an incredibly nice looking sheet that only needs minor tweaks outwards. Here we see the only thing that really needs to happen is a slight lengthening of that category schedule to make sure that everything fits on a single line. Incredibly powerful stuff, very, very quick to set up. And now on to Hanger Trapeze. So Hanger Trapeze is the newest addition to the Hanger suite of commands. This allows us to select fabrication duct hangers and choose an element to extend to. Here we see we have just connected between two pieces of duct. Now, I'm also going to take these same hangers and show that we can also extend a ductwork hanger out to a piece of pipework. To note, this command requires fabrication duct hangers to work, and these must first be placed on duct and then extended. Additionally, you'll see when we jump to a 3D view, the points continue to work as previously seen, moving with the hangers. In addition to all those great features of fabrication I just showed you, don't forget we have so many more. Beyond what's inside BIMrx, you could also couple the BIMrx fabrication database. This is a database of thousands of fabrication parts. Definitely check it out, something worth adding to your arsenal. Now, like we mentioned before, BIMrx is continuously evolving and improving. We would love to hear from customers like you about features you'd like to see in BIMrx. And you know what? We've made it easier than ever. You can submit your ideas for improvements or entirely new commands directly at our BIMrx website. Please be a part of helping us make BIMrx even better. Now, I really appreciate everyone taking time out of your day to listen about the new features in Core, MEP, and Fabrication 3.1, as well as BIMrx Cloud Manager 2.8